Hey guys, back again. um, Again, just doing some review things. So if you remember, end behavior of functions. If you remember what we were doing on this, so let me just kind of set a little example here. So remember, the highest power, which again, they're only in this example on the exam, they were just giving you one exponent. But remember, if there was like an x squared or an x, those really wouldn't matter. It's the highest power. So that x3, remember, guys, that means that that's odd because 3 is odd. And then the number in front is positive. So remember, odd or even, positive or negative. Okay, so odd positive means that, again, 3 means it's going to turn 3 times. Again, they're not, the example is multiple choice, so you would kind of know from the graph, but mainly just the end behavior. So actually, we know 1, 2, 3. This is actually sort of what that graph would look like. Remember, it has 3 places. Remember, 1, 2, 3 zeros or roots. Remember where it crosses the x-axis. Remember, this is all kind of coming together. But remember, the end behavior is what they're really asking about. Okay? But again, there's 3 zeros there. There's 3 roots. And remember, so on the left, it's falling. See, it's falling on the left, but on the right, it's rising. Okay? So remember, when you're talking about odd, you always end with the sign. Since it's odd positive means it's going to end positive. But remember, odd is always opposite. So if it's rising on the end, then it must be falling at the beginning. Okay, remember, odd goes opposite direction. Okay, let's look at the second one here. This, obviously, the power is 6. That's even. But obviously, the sign in front is negative. Now, remember, even, they're both going the same direction. Either both up or both down. Because it's negative, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the graph would sort of look like that. Okay, and again, if I had an axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 roots. There we go, 6 roots. But again, even means they're going the same way, negative means down. So, okay, on the left, it's falling, and on the right, it falls. Okay, falls on the right, falls on the left. Okay, now let's look at a couple more over here. Okay, I've got a negative. Okay, first though, it's a 5, so we've got an odd. That is negative. Okay, so remember, guys, odd means it's going opposite direction. The sign tells you where you're ending. So because that's negative, I'm going to end down at the end, which means, now this has 5 turns, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to look something like that, the graph would. So again, at the left, then, it is rising. And then obviously, remember, again, odd is opposite. Where the sign is, I mean, that's the best way to try to remember this. Where the sign is where you end. So you're going to, on the right, you're going to fall. Okay, I got to give credit to Miss Lane was the one that kind of came up with this shortcut way to remember. So on an odd, the sign is where you end the graph. Okay, last one. Okay, we've got a 4 there. That's obviously even. No sign, so that's positive. Okay, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, both facing up, right? So on the left, we're rising. And on the right, we'll also be rising. Okay? So again, nothing too difficult. It's kind of something you try to just memorize and remember, okay, for those details, okay? And again, on the exam, it was a multiple choice. You just had to pick the right. They actually gave you pictures. But if you don't remember the end behavior, how do you pick between the pictures? So you have to remember if it's positive or negative, odd or even, and that kind of thing, okay? Good. Okay, we'll move on after this, but here's your 2 problems, okay? Just put your answers in the journal, okay, for those 2 problems. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye.